Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome to Compost and Causations. I am AkhmostistTheCompostist, and we are here for another one as we are still upon the sun. Yes, the daylight hours is still upon us. And so 2 broadcasts back to back. Yeah. For those who know that sports reference, you know. So we're here to do another watch along, to do another watch along. And the previous one was awesome. And this one is going to be awesome. And it was awesome. You should know that media reference as well. So interesting enough, Black Panther, the film, part 1 came out, 5 years ago. And then I think it was like February 16th or something like that. And today's February 18th. So, wow. What a difference 5 years makes. Happy Black History Month. Happy Black Future Month, you all. First and foremost. And so we're not going to delay any longer. We're going to get right into it. And this particular video is me talking about a completed day on the composting site. And, we're having a look at what a professional composter looks like and what the site could look like at the end of the day and what they may look like at the end of the day. So this is the third video that I'm showing that's actually on my other channel that I'm in the process of moving over to this channel. And so I have 3 of these and this is the third one. And I'm happy about the one that we did earlier, which was not one of these 3, but was still very important to lay the foundation of, what it is we do here in terms of composting and being in the realm of it. So if you're new to it, you're learning something new. If you're familiar with it, It's nostalgic, and you might learn some things that you didn't think that you knew, or learn a different aspect of it. And if you're advanced, I guess it's more so like, oh wow, memories, nostalgia, or that's interesting how they did that. We did it this way. So it applies to all people. And we're here. So this is part 3 of that trinity. And here we go moving forward. So let me share my screen right about now. So there you go. That's how we get down. That's how we get up. Who's that? That's me. Surprise, surprise, surprise. This is showing you all some of what makes up a composter's day and the work that volunteers can achieve, all in a day's work. Pretty dope. That's awesome work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me thumbs up that as well. So that's that. And let's get into the video. Let's get into, wait a minute. Wait just 1 minute. How's everybody doing? Wishfully you are doing well. Okay, I don't know what's going on out there, but I know what's going on in here. So let me check my sounds real quick. Paul delay. Let's see. What's going on out there, but I know what's going on in here. Yep, so we're good. So here we go. Let's maximize the screen, and please make sure you like, subscribe to this channel, The Compliment King, and this video, and this channel, AkhmostistTheCompostist, in this video. So let's go. Here we go.
Peace. AkhmostistTheCompostist here. Happy February.
Ooh, it's February
1st. Happy Black.
This is interesting because this is exactly 3 years ago, before the pandemic hit the next month, and people began to be laid off everywhere and anywhere, and that would include me in the month of April. So yeah, this is exactly 3 years ago. You can see the change in my hair, the length, my facial hair, my mood, all of that. So a little time capsule moment. So 3 years ago, February 2020.
First, happy Black History Month.
Black History Month. Black Future Month.
Just a little bit of what we did on site today. We did about 5 or 6 tasks. We started a roll turn. See this square with a flat top.
So the roll turn, maybe I'll explain it.
So that's turning into the month of December that we're going to keep track of. We don't give away any finished compost from the moment that we get to the food scraps and process it to the moment that we give it away as finished, unsifted or sifted compost. We back it up. We don't give it away until it's about 4 or 5 months old. So that's representing the month of December. And it's going to be...
It's crazy to think what I was getting paid to do all that work. Nah, wasn't being compensated fairly at all. But I'm thankful. So the roll turn, this is the compost that has been aerated at least 2-3 times. And so it's at least a month old, and it needs to go towards the back of the site because we have to utilize all the space. And the back of the site is like the curing bed, where it's now going to sit for a little bit longer, another month or 2. And then at some point, it's going to be moved into the sifting tunnel. And at that point, it'll essentially be finished compost as month, 4 and 5 comes around. So in the meantime, it needs to go to the back. It doesn't necessarily have to be aerated and turned for it to decompose the food scraps that are inside of it. Because at that point, after a month plus, the food scraps have essentially been broken down because you've turned the pile 3 times. It's been aerated. It's been sealed. The heat has done what it needed to do. The macro and the macroorganisms have done what they needed to do. So now it's to the back of the pile or back of the site, rather, and it's just going to sit. And so, you don't have to turn it every single, 7 days. You can wait a little bit longer to turn it, twice a month. if you have to, or once every 3 strongs, depending upon the situation. But because there's a cycle and a circle of movement and functionality of the sites, you have to move things around. So you got to move things from the front, which is fresher, newer compost, to the back, which is curing, and then in the sifting tunnel, which is like the finishing area. Now, there's some other parts and components of the site, but those like the main 3, and we're just keeping it simple. So how you do that is once the material is ready to be sit and cured, you have to take the newer material that's up front after it's had, at least 2 turns, some windrows, as you saw being built earlier in the previous broadcast. After they've been turned and aerated 2-3 times, let's just say 3 times, it's now ready to be transferred to the back. How do you do that? You put it in wheelbarrows, and you, like by shovel, you break into the composting pile in the mound using the rakes, and then the shovels with volunteers and staff, and you put that material into the wheelbarrows, and then you literally roll it. That's why it's called a roll turn. A turn is just when you're aerating the pile, and so you got to turn certain technique to transport it from one location to another, shovel by shovel, feet in hand. But this is a roll turn. You have to put it in the wheelbarrow and roll it to the back of the site and turn it that way, and then you'll be able to turn it the other ways that you did with the earlier piles. So that's why it's called that. And so to do that, you have to construct it a certain way, because you're not making a fresh salad, nor are you giving it away. You're going to let it cure, but you got to dump out the material a certain way out of the wheelbarrows, and you got to build it up. And so you keep on building it up using a certain technique, which is not seen in this video in terms of all the steps, but you got to flat top it, and then you might add some more, flat top it to kind of like create the ideal shape, structure, and size that you need based upon the setting around you. And yeah, so not to get into the super nuances, that's just some basic general information, and you kind of like cap it at the end. So that's what I'm showing you here.
Ready to be given away as finished compost come April, May. These were some turns that I did yesterday. We got September, October, November, December back here.
So once, like, as you're building a fresh pile, the fun part about composting is that you name it. You got to give it some name or number to keep track of it, to keep track of all the material, the work that's been done, who did it, and where it's at in its process or its processing stages. So, the name could be anything that a volunteer comes up with, the staff person was thinking about. Could be something silly, serious, a dedication or something, whatever. So that's the initial windrow, the initial build salad day. Each one has a name up front. Once it goes to the back, that name is changed. It's now named after a month. You might have different piles that are used to build up the back windrow. Because again, nuances. When it goes back there, it gets turned into a month, because again, this is how you keep track of when the compost is ready to be given away. So if you built that pile February 18th 2023, it won't be until after a few turns. It'll probably be sometime in mid-March that now it's ready to be rolled to the back. And once it's rolled to the back, that's going to be called March. And so like, okay, March needs to cure for at least another 3 months. So we got, in that time of it curing for several months, it's going to be moved and relocated again, somehow or some way, end up into the sifting tunnel. And then it'll be moved to the front towards the sifting tunnel front. And whatever is at the front is the eldest compost on site and ready to be given away straight away as sifted or unsifted compost. If you got to put it on the sifting table, that's what you got to do. But once it goes to the back, say that's February, okay, well, March, you got April, May, June, July. So July ideally is like the earliest. If it's cured, great. Then June would be the earliest, but July is like safest. That 4 or 5 month time period is ideal. Some sites they can do it in 3 months or want to do that or give it away then. Some sites, 4 or 5 is much more safer, at least for us. So that's how it works. So that's why I was describing like the naming of it and why it's named after a month. So that's what that is. Some may say a month. If you're from the hood, you might say a month. A month.
And it's going to be ready to be given away as finished compost come April, May. These were some turns that I did yesterday. We got
Keep in mind that I wasn't the only person working on the site. There were 3 staff members, and then I got narrowed down to 2, my mentor and me, who I mentioned in the previous broadcast. And so what we would do as staff members is that we would do the work of the volunteers, but even more work, because the site has a lot of different tasks to complete. It's about 12 to 15 different tasks, main tasks that you have to manage on a day-to-day basis. And then you have seasonal ones that you do, like weatherizing the site. But as a staff member, you have to be on site at least 5 days a week during that work, 6 to 8 hours a day in all kinds of weather conditions. So at one point it was 3 of us as staff members, and then I got narrowed down to 2. And then, my mentor, who was the official manager of the site, now it's his assistant manager or site coordinator or assistant manager. And sometimes I would have to take the lead if he wasn't there. And this particular day, he probably wasn't there. He probably had to leave early to go to a meeting or give some kind of talk, because he was pretty popular and pretty well known in the field and in the community and in the borough. And so, great man, doing great work. So yeah, it would just be me on site completing a certain task, and this is me at the end of the day explaining that ass.
September, October, November, December back here.
That's the wood chips. That's our wood chip pile, and then to the left are our bays where we keep our sifted compost ready to go.
So did some wood chip work. Replenished some wood chips on site that needed to be relocated. We did that. Got the wood chip pile right here. You see that? It's been a lengthy, productive day. I went a little over today.
So I had my hair at that point for 3.5, 4 years. This has to be 2020. So the arthritis was still going, but I was still pushing through.
Let me show y'all the
nice facial hair.
This is a fresh build that I helped lead yesterday. It's called Mamba's 4 Scrooges.
What? It's called what?
It's named after somebody. That's a hint. It's named after somebody. It's called Mamba's 4 Scrooges.
Mamba's 4 Scrooges.
That's a hint. It's named after somebody. We also finished.
Would that be named after Kobe Bryant? February, because he had passed away January 2020. See, my show was, when was my show? My show was 2020. I turned 39. I think that was named after Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bean Bryant, the great basketball player, the all-time great, Lakers great, because he had passed away the previous month. And Kobe has 4 daughters, if I'm correct. One of his daughters passed away with him. I think that was maybe his either his second or third daughter, Gianna was. But yeah, he I think they had 4 daughters. Let me just research that real quick. See something. Let me see something. And again, please make sure you like, subscribe, share. It helps the channel grow. As well as my pockets grow, because we got goals here. See something? Okay, I want to know the names of his daughters. Come on. No, well, not names, but how many daughters does he have? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, his father also played in the NBA, for those who don't know. Okay, come on. Pardon me, y'all. I'm just scrolling through. Thank you all for your patience, but this is necessary because I'm curious. I'm curious about your loving. I want to know what's on your mind. It's also one of the top 5 greatest scorers of all time. Holy criggity cripe. Let me see something. Hold on. Let me go here. Let me go here so I can put this good news in your ear. I was correct. Natalie, Gianna, Ashe, Capri, and Bianca. I don't know who's the youngest, but yeah. So that's that. Ashe, Kobe, Ashe, Gianna, and the rest. So that's that. Yeah. So Mamba's 4 Scrooges. I was just doing my own research and my own research. That's all.
It's named after somebody. We also finished the rest of a windrow that was here called Veggie Fried Rice. We use that as Seal, SEAL, on top of
Veggie fried rice.
younger compost.
Mm-hmm.
And we also did 2 other tasks.
Now that ground bedding looks dirtier than it is, or more soil than it actually is. It's a cloudy day. It was probably like raining a few days prior, so just the soil and the sticking and the stickage was a bit more intense, and it makes it way more challenging to sweep and clean up. So you do as much as you can possibly do. We did a great job, but the ground was a bit like semi-stained, temporarily stained from the soil and the juices like sitting during a rainy time. So
for the day. It's getting darker, so the light is getting dimmer, but I'm confident you can still see me and hear me clearly. This was a first turn of a windrow named Tiny Tot that a comrade of mine led today. You can see that perfection. And then this was my task for the day.
My task.
That I led a team of about 5-6 people, some of them first timers.
Beautiful. Look at that.
So this windrow may not look like it. This windrow is 9 feet tall and 5 tons heavy.
Whew.
So this was a second turn of a windrow called Mocha. And it might be aerated one more time before we use it as Seal or have it be roll turn at some point. But yeah, y'all can see that.
Look at that beauty.
So this was a big one, and it's beautiful. I'm proud of myself, the symmetry and everything. Just giving y'all a little taste of what it is I do. You can now start to see the height. I know it's a little, but
6 feet.
yeah, that's what's. I'm gonna give it to you from at least 3 angles.
It's all about the angles. Pardon the light, or the lack thereof.
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
Yep. So that's what we did today. We finished those wood chips over there to the right, about 40, 50 feet in front of me. to the right.
Yeah.
And just had a
Kind of like, I think it's like the berm. You want to keep the structure of the site in place, because if it, there's heavy rain, and the windrows themselves get leakage or leachate, you don't want it to like go directly into the grass or like run off the site. So you use the wood chips as like a berm or like a layer of carbon-based material to catch that leachate or any, sustenance that's coming from the pile and coming off the windrows and coming off the site as it heavily rains. Sometimes it can do that. And so instead of it running into the grass and just staying there, you want to capture it, and then those same wood chips become a bit more nutrient rich because they have those nutrients and that leachate that came from the composting piles, windrows, and mounds. And then you can now use those wood chips as browns for a fresh build later on down the line. So everything has its purpose and it's all circular, and there's a larger functionality and ecosystem of a composting site. So everything is intentional and very functional. So that's what I just touched on.
a great successful day. A lot of volunteers came out today. Probably had about 15, 16 altogether.
Wow.
And we got a lot done, caught up on quite a few tasks that needed to be completed and accomplished. And we had a very successful day. And may you have a very successful day, evening, for the rest of yours. Peace and love. AkhmostistTheCompostist.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
At least 3 angles together. And we got a lot done, caught up on a successful day, evening, for the rest of yours. Peace and love. AkhmostistTheCompostist.
Why won't this thing stop in time? My goodness. The freak. There we go. Hello. Like, what is my...
For the rest of yours.
2.
Peace and love. AkhmostistTheCompostist.
There you go. I don't want to be bucking my eyes. Anyway, you get it. You got it. You see where it is.
Peace and love.
So yeah, so that's that. I'm going to maximize my screen again. And we're here. So that was me describing a completed work day on the composting site, as you saw. We didn't spend a lot of time up front, but I think what I showed in the earlier broadcast today with David, the great David, building the windrow from scratch on the salad day with the volunteers, you are seeing more of the beginning stages and the start of the salad and the start of the pile and all the pieces and components that you need, or a great majority of them, what it looks like to start things on. And then I kind of like went more towards the middle of that process. And maybe I'll upload, or there'll be some video that we can watch about the ending or the third part of that process in terms of when it's cured and it's in the sifting tunnel or in the sifting bay and it's being given away. So that was a day, a cloudy day, a successful day. Volunteers, I touched on again. I touched on that topic matter in the previous broadcast, and I'm mentioning it here. The importance of volunteers to keeping a hand-tooled composting site open, running, functional, and successful. So cheers and kudos to the volunteers again. Let's give them a round of applause. Amazing volunteers. And give me a round of applause as well as the site manager. I was the assistant site manager. Yeah. So I know how to, not only start a site from scratch, but have it running very, very efficiently and successfully. And that's been a goal of mine. And we'll see if the opportunity comes up again, or if I create it. And right now it's the creation of the Compost video game that's happening. So stay tuned and make sure you stay in tuned. So this has been another broadcast of Compost and Causations. I want to thank you for tuning in and touching base with moi. And share the broadcast, like, subscribe on your way out. And composting is a curious matter. Let's begin the chatter. And yeah, the ladder. Peace. And thank you for joining Compost and Causations. Appreciate you.